Okay, we can start. This is being recorded, and we'll plan to share this out with everybody that's part of this meeting. And then also have a placement on it for on our website. So my name is Midhat. I go by Mito. I am one of the owners and founders of Rochester FC. I'm also one of the coaches on our youth teams. And I'll let Eric introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Feil. I am the youth director for the club as well as the USLW head coach.
Thank you. So the plan here is we'll just go through a slideshow giving you guys some information on RFC and our season plan. And then we'll have, again, time for questions here in a little bit. So um, Rochester FC was built on just providing opportunities for our youth in the community and pathway to higher level soccer. And also um, our goal is to put a lot of emphasis on the individual player development and growth, which I personally have not experienced here before. So the player first culture, so just prior, prioritizing the player's long term development. We don't expect players to have a quick short term growth here. Um, and then it's a very family focused club. So we are a family owned club. My other business partners are also community members and a surgeon at Mayo Clinic. So we started this club, you know, with our families for families, and we that's kind of our goal is to just keep it very family oriented and just have opportunities for everybody. And then we are also very focused on player growth, not just on the field but off the field as well. So just respectfulness, mind is being mindful of your community involvement and just being a good member of the community. So um, a lot of the stuff that we do in Rochester FC is very technical skill focused. So a lot of touches on the ball, a lot of movements, a lot of um, just getting players to be comfortable with the ball. And then we work on that technical awareness as well. Over the years, we've sent players to Minnesota United for their just to experience the higher level soccer on the youth side, and we get a lot of feedback that a lot of the players that go up to them, they lack that tactical awareness. So for us, that's kind of a big part of this game development is just helping players understand what the game is about, the spacing on the field, movement, and just being more game intelligent. I touched upon the character, so just being a team member, a member of the family, being respectful, and then all of that stuff plays into the player's confidence. So we believe in again developing the player and giving everybody a good amount of game time because everybody develops better and faster when they get more game experience. So um, the pathway that we have here at Rochester FC, so we just expanded on our MLS Go program. Eric is going to touch up on the MLS here in a little bit, but that opened up opportunities for us for kids four and up. It's a recreational program that is very focused on development and those basic skills. Then we have our competitive youth league teams. Those are kids ages 7 to 19. We we did have USL Academy, so that was considered like the highest level on the youth side, along with MLS. For us, we put a pause on this just because when we first started, we our kids could not compete at that level. We just had a lot of other clubs in the region that had mostly Division One athletes, and it was very difficult for our players to compete. So we put a pause on this for the time being. And then we have our pre-professional pathway, so that would be the USL League Two and USLW, and those are the highest pre-professional levels in the United States. Right above that is the professional level. So we do have a very good pathway to high-level soccer. So this goes just into that choosing the right track for your player. So this commitment levels, and so the MLS Go track is an 8 week session, and that changes every 8 weeks, obviously. So for a couple months, it's very Rochester focused. So we don't get just players from Rochester. We're getting from Owatonna, Byron, Casson, and it's 2 days a week. And very inclusive, fun. So the point of MLS Go is to make it a fun environment, but also very focused on the development of players, giving them opportunities to get as many touches on the ball as we can. Again, Eric will cover most of that. And then being very cost affordable for families as well. And MLS does offer help with scholarships through their program, which we do provide applications and stuff like that. Our competitive track is a longer season, so about a 3 month season. They train 3 days a week and games on the weekends. And regional travel, so that's Rochester, Northfield, Owatonna, Austin, cities, Winona. So that's more of a regional travel for that. And then we, again, very focused on skill development, so basic skills to advanced technical skills, club fees, and then we are partnered with Adidas, so our whole team is outfitted with Adidas gear, which is home away jersey. We do require training jerseys, and then a backpack. And then the end goal for those competitive kids is, if they want to play varsity soccer, if they want to maybe college soccer, semi-pro, pre-pro, or even professional soccer. So we help them get to that level. Eric?
Yeah, so I'll kind of run you guys through a little bit more in depth for each of these options for the children, starting off with MLS Go, which we actually had to go through the MLS and apply and get greenlit to be able to run this program, seeing as we're always using MLS branded jerseys for the kids. This is structured for essentially all youth ages from 4 to 17. And we have been broken up into 8 week bursts with a 8 week long curriculum that progressively builds as the session goes on. There is rotating activities, however. So if you were to sign up for the spring session, you'll come back in the fall session. We'll still be working on the same general goals for the kids, but we'll have different activities to help strengthen those aspects of the game. The structure within those weeks is one day is a training day and one day is a game day. Games are structured to be either 3v3 or, for the really little kids, 4v4, depending on the pitch size. And that really increases the number of touches you get on the ball. It feels, when we're indoor especially, very similar to futsal, which has been pretty well regarded around the world as one of the better ways to develop your actual on-the-ball technical abilities. The whole point of MLS Go is to get as many kids into the sport and having fun as possible. That's why the costs are so low. If you join us, you will get fully kit MLS branded. That fee also covers, the field rentals and all that. We essentially run it at cost as a way to give players an option when they may not be able to commit to the full-blown competitive league, but still want to be developing throughout the year. Next slide. All right, and we hope that the kids have such a great time with the MLS Go program that they join in to our competitive program. The coaches for both programs are the same, so you won't have a whole new staff changeover when you join the competitive season. All of our coaches are licensed either through US Soccer or through a different CONCACAF federation, with the minimum license being a USFD license, which is kind of the pinnacle of the grassroots starting into the, progressing into professional and high-level coaching. All of these teams are running off of a structured curriculum. We know what we want a RFC player to be playing like when they reach those pre-professional levels, and we know the metrics that we need to track to get them there. And all of that is built into this curriculum. And it is varying by ages and generally follows what U.S. Soccer has outlined for developmental milestones for each of the ages. We have standardized equipment. As Mito mentioned, we are Adidas sponsored, so we will wear Adidas kits, both for training and games. The kids will get to keep these. So it's not an equipment rental like a school team would be. And we want to bring in the training jersey aspect, especially as it creates a sense of unity and makes sure that the kids feel like they're a part of something big. A lot of the kids really like the fact that there's, sponsors on their jerseys. It feels like a professional team and gets them more excited. And this bleeds into the coaching staff as well. Coaches will all be wearing the same general gear so that wherever you are, if you see the navy blue, you'll know that it's a Rochester FC coach working with the kids. And then all of this builds into what we hope will be a standardized outcome of high-level soccer being, represented throughout the region at all levels, and at the national level when we get into those pre-professional and semi-professional levels. Next slide. So, are running this on a year-long developmental cycle. Basically, winter training, we're indoors, ages 4 to 18. That is almost exclusively the MLS Go scenario. So we do have our competitive kids join in that MLS Go during the winter. And we know that helps foster some friendships that make it a little bit easier to potentially jump into those competitive teams. There's a lot of holdups because people aren't sure if they'll have a friend on the team or not. MLS Go definitely opens up that door and makes it easier to make those connections and commit into a more competitive team. Spring and summer is outdoor. We will run the MLS Go as well as the competitive leagues. The training requirements for the competitive leagues will go up here. Instead of just the 2 days a week, competitives will start going into the 3 to 4 days a week commitments for time. MLS Go will stay at 2 days a week with that same structure. First session is training, second session is the game day. And then we roll into the fall where we still have MLS Go and competitive. However, the competitive is capped at U15 to allow players to go play for their high school teams as well. State High School League does not allow players to play for their high school team and a separate club team at the same time, which kind of explains that cutoff. Otherwise, it feels almost exactly like the spring and summer seasons with the competitive teams training between 3 and 4 times a week and MLS Go going twice. Next slide. All right. So the training environment that we are bringing into Rochester is meant to be world-class. Some of the ways that we're doing that is through a Real Madrid soccer camp. Real Madrid is actually sending their staff coaches down to not only work with players that join the camps and walk them through an actual Real Madrid methodology, but they are bringing coach education down as well. So the RFC coaches that will be a part of this will gain further education based off of what Real Madrid has set up in their academy structures. Alongside that, we have the ACR Messina camp coming. This camp actually could lead to professional opportunities in Italy. The way it works is that come run an ID camp with their staff. From there, high-performing individuals are asked to come to a secondary tryout where they will play in front of first-team scouts. Once again, RFC coaches are involved with this, but this is much more for the players who are highly driven, wanting to crack into those professional leagues. And then RFC also runs local skills camps. Both the coaching staff and our pre-professional players help lead these. They are both large-scale team-oriented and position-specific oriented, for a really wide variety of options that people can join in depending on where their child's needs are. Next slide here. All right. So we've talked about, building these players holistically, and RFC does that through a different varying avenues. The biggest one is we have a 70% scholarship rate. We don't want finances to be a hindrance when it comes to joining the game. We have sponsorship opportunities for both MLS Go and for our competitive teams. So whatever program is right for your child and you need financial aid, we have avenues to provide that for you. And then we also have the RFC Cares Initiative, and this is an active partnership with the Ronald McDonald House and our local school reading and recess programs, that gets our pre-professional players, especially, out into the community, helping with different things that are not necessarily directly soccer related, especially the reading programs. We've had a lot of really good feedback about that. The kids love it when somebody that could be a professional soccer player one day comes and hangs out with them at school. And all of this is to develop not only great soccer players, but great citizens. The world is always in need of good people, and we are definitely going to be focusing on making sure that we win both on and off the field as a club. All right, so some next steps. If you haven't already, join the youth newsletter at rochesterfc.com and follow the Rochester FC Academy social medias. These are where schedule alerts will happen, and any news that would be relevant to our youth programs can be found in these two sites. From there, if you've done your research and you think, RFC seems like the best place for my kid, choose where you're going to enter our program. The MLS Go sessions, like I said, are soccer for everyone year round, and they are a great way to get a feel for our club and the environment that the kid will be in for a pretty low cost option. If you feel like your child is high level already and want to jump right into the competitive, more than welcome to. And that will lead us into tryouts. So tryouts will be posted on those socials. We currently have spots open for players on all of our competitive teams. So if you're worried that you missed a tryout or whatever, don't stress about that. Reach out to either Mito or myself, and we will help you find the appropriate place for your child. Are there any questions on any of that before I give it back to Mito? If not, thanks, Mito. I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah, so the only thing I would add is a lot of the stuff that we bring. So for these camps and things like that, we do it for the kids. But we also do it for our coaches as well. Coaches get to experience it and be around high-level coaches that come here from overseas. And all of our coaches are local, and they are with the club and have been with the club for a long time. And for us, that's important because just keeping that relationship with our families and our kids, you're constantly in that environment, and you get to see the coaches over and over again. It's not new coaches every year. And then for us, we also like to have all of our teams in that same area around the same time, practicing and being around each other. Usually for warm-ups, we have kind of the older kids be with the younger kids. Again, it's about connections and just meeting new faces and seeing new faces. And then um, we we've learned that once you start coaching and teaching others skills, you start to become a better player and a better person. So we also have our older players teach our younger ones some new tricks and moves and things like that. So that's why we have implemented this same training time, same locations, and again, that's our families connect and be around each other more. So and then the last thing is for our pre-professional games, so they are Division One athletes that come here over the summer. There's bounce houses, there's food trucks, there's all sorts of activities. All of our RFC competitive kids do get to go to those events for free. So that is also another way for us to continue building that family relationship and just having kids be around each other and yeah, having a fun time. Any questions at all? Thoughts, concerns, feedback? Okay. Well, thank
Mito,
you.
Can you see
Pardon?
that, Mito? There's a question in the chat from
I'm sorry, I
Laura.
didn't see that.
I can read it too.
Many games of the competitive teams play. What levels of competition characterized as bronze, silver, gold? What league do the competitive teams play? Okay, great questions. So our competitive schedule is this. If you've been part of North Star, so we play in the same leagues as them. So that schedule is coming out soon. I think we're looking at about 12 competitive league games, and then on top of that, our competitive teams do 2 tournaments. We work those tournaments around the league weekend, so we don't schedule the tournaments until we have the league play done. What level of competition is this? I'm going to be very honest here, and bronze, silver, gold, black, blue, they are all the same level, in our opinion. We've had our kids compete against black level teams from clubs, blue level teams, bronze, and we were able to compete really well. Our teams in the fall won all the leagues, and they competed against all those teams. So we on the youth side, you'll see a lot more change in the leagues when you get to the top level leagues, which is that ECNL, that MLS, that USL level of youth teams. But everything under that, I would consider just kind of bunched together. Eric, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would, kind of further clarify that, our teams are built to be at the top end of whatever level we're in. So generally what that means is, especially in leagues like are currently in, Southern Minnesota, where there's promotion relegation involved, we always want to be in the promotion discussion. As far as the number of games goes, that also is dependent on the number of teams that are around us. So it's tough to say, hard numbers like we always have a 12 game season or anything like that. But we make sure that we get between 15 and 20 total games in the competitive season. So if we have a smaller league, we supplement with tournaments. If we have a larger league, we maybe knock some tournaments back off. But so that's kind of the number range we're looking at. And as far as, those really upper echelon, ECNL, MLS next levels, those are a commitment that when we get to that point, becomes a whole different discussion in terms of competitive levels. So like Mito said, outside of that, we treat it all as we want to be in the promotion discussion, whatever league we're in, any season. We do have, like I said, metrics that we are kind of tracking for our players for development to making sure they're staying on the right track. And that generally leads to really quick improvement within the first couple of weeks for some of these kids. And then, through a combination of not only coaching staff effort, but the players' effort, that kind of sets where we're at competitively.
Sure.
Yep.
I'll just bring up a question. So we've had a question on our fees, and we are very transparent with our fees. Is that our current fee for the competitive season is $775. We've actually gone down about $150 on that. And our fee is set at that rate because all of our coaches are experienced, licensed, and paid coaches. And then all the costs that are going up, obviously, with inflation. So at that cost is what we can do at the bare minimum. Again, we do provide scholarships for families that need it, and we do have extensive payment plans. So if you know you're going to be with us in the summer, you can set your payment plan to be 5, 6 months, one payment, 3 payments. So we do give you guys a lot of freedom on setting those payments up yourself, and just paying it over the season. Or if you need the full year, that's also an option. So we are very flexible when it comes to payments and anything around that. So. Perfect. I don't see any other questions or any other questions. So thank you for taking time tonight to join us. We will be on for another 5 minutes here. So if you do have any questions or you just want to hang around and chat, we're happy to do that.